Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today at this late hour. This is the Medhosner Podcast, Season 2, Episode 8, with our guest, Dr. Tigran Avagyan, PhD. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm your host, Vic Aslanyan, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Mike Balyan. It's been a long day, man, where we discuss our great Armenian history, covering different people, eras, and topics. It's Thursday, March 3rd, 2022. Happy Thursday, everyone. How are you, brother?
Oh, well, it's been an interesting evening.
Oh my God, man. I can't believe it's been crazy today. So we're live. We had some technical issues. We apologize, but we are good to go. Again, we're doing a late show because our guest is joining us from the other side of the world, basically, and we're thankful for everyone who are joining us right now. I don't want to take too much time with any announcements. We'll do that after. But I want to introduce Dr. Tigran Avagyan. He's a professor of political science. He's also the former Deputy Minister of Internal Affairs of Ukraine. He is the creator and head of the Armenian Heritage Project of Europe, I should say. Please welcome Tigran Avagyan. Hi, Tigran. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Hello, friends.
Hi,
Tigran. How are you?
Thanks for joining us. I know it's really early for you. Do we want to say where you are? I know, we talked about this before, as far as your location.
Yes, it's normal. Everything is okay. I'm very glad to have possibility to speak with a lot of Armenians in English language, because I think that English-speaking Armenian is approximately 2 million, and it's a very important part of our nation, and that's why this broadcast is very interesting for me.
Yeah. I just want to tell our audience, Tigran speaks multiple languages, and I know we were talking about this, that you haven't used English in a while, but thank you for doing this in English. But anytime, if you want to speak Armenian, feel free. I know it might be easier, but we want to try to keep it in English because our audience is worldwide.
Yeah.
Again, anytime, if you want to explain something, you feel uncomfortable with English, feel free to speak in Armenian, and that's fine. Now, in the beginning, the first thing I want to ask you, if you can talk, our main topic is going to be Spurk, but before we get into it, can you give us a quick background about where you were born, where you grew up, a little bit about your ancestors, where everybody came from?
Yes, I born in Yerevan 1975. My mother born in Kiev, my father born in Georgia. All my childhood, partially, I was in Kiev and I was in Yerevan. It was kind of travels between two cities in my life. My ancestors are from Van, Bitlis, and Garin, that now called Erzurum in Turkish language. My heritage is Western Armenian, and also I have Ukrainian roots from my grandmother's side. If speak about my ancestors in Garin, they were officers during centuries and landlords. In 1915, they lost my grandfather at age of 15, lost the whole family. They were killed, and he remained alone. And during 3 years, traveled to his eldest sister to Kiev, Ukraine. Reached 1918, where born my mother. From part of my father, my ancestors were businessmen in Van. They were entered the production. Also, practically during the first genocide in 1892, were killed all ancestors of my of the father of my grandfather. He remained alone, then created family, and 1915 again suffered from genocide. His sons were killed, and together with her wife, they moved to territory of Russia, North Caucasus, then transmoved to Tbilisi, the capital of Georgia. All other relatives not come to Soviet Union and spread throughout the world. If speak about the history of the family, everybody of us could tell a lot of and long stories. It's a brief information.
Wow, that's. I mean, it's funny how that story resonates with
everybody.
so many of us. With so many.
Every single one of our families has a story.
Yeah. Can everybody hear us? Okay. Tigran, can you hear us? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Audience, everybody okay? I don't know. Some people are saying it might be a little bit too loud, so I just want to make sure. So we have some questions for you set up. Mike, you want to ask?
Yeah. Okay, Tigran. So you have a PhD in political science, and you're a former deputy minister of internal affairs for Ukraine, right? What was it? 2014 to 2018? Yes. Or 2016?
2014, 2016, yes.
Okay. Can you tell us more about your studies as a professor and your position as a deputy minister? Whatever you can talk about, of course.
Yes, mainly during approximately 15 years, I'm concentrated conflictology, ethnic conflicts, geopolitical issues. It's kind of my profession as a scientist, and I take floor during this period in a lot of different universities. I have approximately 170 scientific theses. It's normal for everybody for such a long period. Yes, and as a Deputy Minister of Internal Affairs of Ukraine, I was responsible for European integration. I was responsible for, during this period, I was one of the creators of Light Infantry Brigade of National Guard of Ukraine. I was responsible for foreign relations. And was responsible for international operations of Ukrainian police. Briefly.
Yeah. Wow, that's a lot of work. You said 170 theses, so that's normal. You said for people of your ilk or your position, yes.
During 15 years, I think. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Wow.
Now, when did you? I mean, when we asked what was the reasons why you left that position?
I left this position because it was my will. I decided to continue my scientific work also, and I decided a new work as a major consultant advisor of main gas oil company of Ukraine. I decided to change it because I thought that during 2.5 year period, I realized all that goals that I put forward before for a kind of a solution, kind of results for me. Yes, and I changed my position at the July 2016. But at the same time, I remain as advisor approximately for the next 5 years as the Minister of Internal Affairs.
Okay. Now, we don't want to dive too deep into the current situation in Ukraine, but obviously it's on everyone's mind. We also understand that naturally there's a bit of a biased position on your end. What can you tell us as to what's happening in the outlook with this whole Russian and Ukraine conflict? We just want to touch on it a bit.
I would like to tell and stress that after the Second World War II, it's a second conflict by size. It's a tremendous conflict. It's a war against Ukraine launched by Russia, and war launched not only against Ukraine, it's a kind of launch against the whole Western world, the war against civilization. Present time is a great tragedy in Ukraine. Ukraine is the biggest country in the Europe, and the whole territory under the attack of aircrafts and missiles. A lot of people died every minute, I would like to tell, because to understand, Russians attack also dwellers, attack ordinary people, attack nursery houses, attack hospitals, attack schools. It's awfully, and all this information you could find in speeches of the President of France and President of USA when they take floor about this issue, and they do it very often.
I see. Okay. Where do you think this conflict is going to go? Like, what is your outlook?
I think it's a very long conflict. Everybody must ready that conflict will be very long. The second, very important, I think that the President of Russia will be not hesitate if it will be necessary, basing his understanding of the life, to use a nuclear weapon. We must understand. And everybody, we know what could be happened if he will do it. Does it mean that it's very dangerous conflict for the whole planet, for the whole civilization? That this we have now, and nobody know where it will be stopped. Present time, Ukrainian army, very professional way and brave, resist to the Russian occupation troops. And I think and hope that Ukrainian army, with the aim of the whole civilized world, will win.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants this to end as fast as possible, right?
Yeah.
That is
Well,
the goal.
at the end of the day, no matter what happens, it's the people that are suffering. You know, governments can go to war, governments can play chess with countries, but it's
we're the victims.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
You know, we know this is a sensitive topic. We don't want to, you know, we just wanted to touch on it since you are from there and just get your point of view. Let's dive into our topic, which
let's
is the
talk about
diaspora.
Yeah, let's talk about the Armenian diaspora, especially in Ukraine, which I'm sure you know a lot about. Can you go back to the first migration of Armenians to Ukraine and their contributions to the Ukrainian country?
Sure, I would like to stress that approximately more than also 15 years, I'm concentrated the issues of Armenians throughout the world. I involve this process not only concerning diaspora, concerning elaborating the metrics, how to live, where we go as a whole Armenian nation to understand our perspective, basing our past. You speak about Ukraine. I would like to tell that first Armenians appear on the territory of South Ukraine in Crimea approximately 2,100 years ago during Mithridat king invasion in Bospor kingdom. It was 2,100 years ago, and these Armenians were soldiers. Because Armenia, small Armenia, was a major part of Pontus kingdom at that time, and Armenian regiments were situated in Crimea. After it, a great flow of Armenians is the 9th century. A lot of Armenians transmoved to the territory of present Kiev region. They created a big kind of Armenian society, large by size. And from that time, 10,000 of Armenian were left Armenia for the territory of Ukraine. and it was during medieval ages. It was before genocide. It was during Soviet period, and it was after Soviet period. We could say that approximately present time 400,000 Armenians live in Ukraine.
Wow.
Yes, 400,000. It was 500,000, but 100,000 remained on occupied territories. That now controlled by Russia. I speak about Crimea, about Donetsk and Lugansk districts. Yes, it was 500,000. From this 500,000, approximately 4% represent all diaspora. 4%, 20,000. They have no ordinary Armenian surnames with Ian. Their surnames is Ich and Ski, for example, Teodorovich, Amirovich, Terletsky, such kind. There are 20,000. They are deeply assimilated because after a Soviet invasion and joining Western Ukraine, liberating Western Ukraine, and joining to Ukrainian Soviet Republic, all Armenian churches, all Armenian schools, all Armenian organizations were forcibly closed at 1939, and the assimilation was in force during the Soviet period. It was prohibited to open any Armenian organization, not for new diaspora, not for old diaspora. And we must understand that Crimea Armenians were deported to Siberia during the Second World War by the Stalin, and we lost Armenian heritage in Crimea. And if it were deported 13,000 Armenians, 13,000, only 1,000 returned back in 19th of last century. This is the situation. You speak about impact of Armenian of Ukrainian culture is tremendous.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you what kind of impact they did, during these times, or what kind of impact did they have in society with, certain sectors or whatever the case is,
I will tell the first mention of the capital of Ukraine. It's the mention of Armenian scientist Zenon Glak. It's a mention that recorded 7th century kind of essay about establishment of Kiev. It's very controversial essay because it's there noticed that Armenian princes came from Armenia and established the capital, the Kiev. But we have no any proofs of this situation, only this essay of 7th century. And it's basing the tradition, we think that it's a legend. But then in 7th century stated that Armenian princes came and established the city. But we think it's a legend. Yes, also because Armenian historical tradition and in past and now is very poor. We have no serious historians that could prove. Also, if for other nation it's necessary to have one mention and the whole world will tell yes it's so, if it's related to Armenians, we could have everything and nobody will be believed. It's our very serious problems of our nation. After it, I would like to stress that Byzantium, the sister of Byzantium emperors, Anna, were from Armenian dynasty, as were Armenian. It's a person that kind of created the first base for Christianity in Ukraine. We could tell that Christianity came with Armenians.
Yeah.
Thanks to Anna. After it, I would like to tell that the first leader of Ukrainian warriors, Cossacks, Ivan Podkova also was Armenian because his full name was Ivan Karapet Sapega Podkova Armenopol. That is significant Armenopol, Armenian. And if speak about Armenians in Ukraine, I could speak about 1,000 prominent persons, such as composer Karel Mikuli, such as, for example, Ignacy Lukashevich, very prominent scientists, and a lot of, not hundreds, but 1,000 people. But I think it's not only related to Armenian, it's related practically to majority countries of Europe and Middle East.
Yeah.
Impact of Armenian civilization is very huge, very serious.